Hey jammers, welcome to Guitar Lessons FastFunEasy.com. How you doing today? Good, I hope. Today we're going to talk about left-hand technique called bends. First we're going to go to the whiteboard and show you what they look like, and that'll pick up the guitar and show you how we actually do them. So without further ado, let's do a close-up. Okay, so bends. You're going to see bends written different ways on tablature. One is like here in the second string, 5th fret. They'll have a little curved arrow that comes up, and it will tell you full, meaning that you're going to bend a whole step or a tone or 2 whole fret bend, and they write full for that. Or they might, like here with the 5th string 3rd fret, again it should be a curved arrow coming up through. It always comes up the top up here, and they might say half for only a semitone bend or a half step bend, which would be 1 fret. And then over here is an old way of writing it. This is more or less the new way, because if you remember the tablature lesson, I said tablature has evolved over the years. And this is the new way it's evolved into, writing a bend with the little curved arrows. But the old way would be, like for instance here in the 2nd string 7th fret, and then however far they want you to bend, they'll put that number in parentheses. So it's a 9 here in parentheses, and then a little tie going across, saying we're going to pick the 2nd string 7th fret and bend it up to the 9th fret, so it sounds like the pitch of the note that's played on the 9th fret. That's what a bend is about. And some people put a B right here above this. They don't do that here, but they do it with the old-fashioned way. Some people put a B, some do not. They only write it like this, and expect you to they expect you to recognize when you see it that that's a bend, a whole step bend. So it all depends what book you might buy. An older book that's floating around out there, or one of the newer ones, or magazines. Most of the new magazines have this way. So that's what they look like on tab. One more thing. So this is what it looks like again on tablature, but if you go on the internet and get tab there, you know that their lines aren't, straight. They're little dashes connected, and then they write their bends a little different. They might have, like, say a 5 here and then a B right here, no curved arrow, but a B, and then maybe a 7 over here. I mean, here's a 5, bend it to 7. So they write it out a little differently on the internet. Okay, so if I were to do that bend we just were looking at on the whiteboard, the one where it was the 2nd string 5th fret, and I'm bending it so that it sounds like the note on the 7th fret because it's set a full bend. I got to pick this one and bend it to make it sound like that one. This takes some getting used to, to hear it, feel it. We're going to do an easier one first though. So we're going to bend from 5 to 6. So I recommend that you pick this note at 6, listen to it, and then when you go here to bend that one, you're going to try to match how that sounded. Also, whenever you bend, I recommend you hook your thumb around for leverage, and use some other fingers. If you're bending with your 3rd, use your other 2 fingers on the same string. They're all on the 2nd string, and they'll all help you get more strength and power out of your bend with your thumb hooked for leverage. If you're just trying to bend like this with just that finger, it can get sloppy. you can get pop out, like you pick it and the string will pop right out like so. There, it pops right out of. So if you get these other fingers to help, say we're going to do a 4-finger bend, put them all on there, have the thumb hooked, and they're all kind of helping. A 3-finger bend, well, these two guys will help that one. If it's a 2-finger bend, well, then only 1 finger's helping the second, and the thumb's still hooked though. A 1-finger bend, well, sorry, this guy's on his own, except for the thumb to help. So, it takes a little time getting used to these bends. See, you're getting that sound effect, that the note coming up. So, the best ones to first try are just half-step bends, where you're going to pick this one to make it sound like that one. Once you get strong enough in your fingers and your hands to do that, then you'll try a whole step bend. Like, say we're going to pick this the 7th fret here to make it sound like the 9th fret. So you can even test that note. You go here and they're a little harder to do. And there's even 3 fret bends and 4 fret bends. Huge bends. Wow. Some of them really tough to do. Keep in mind also that you can break strings doing this. They might pop sometimes when you're really working them like that, bending them too hard, or maybe even knock you out of tune, especially if they're new strings, because when you're bending them, you're really stretching them, and so they could go out of tune or possibly break. Hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't want that to happen, but it can. But there's practicing the bends. Now, it's obvious when you're bending on your 1st and 2nd string, you need to push the string up. You can't come down and you go off the neck. See, I went right off the neck. You don't want that, so you have to go up for those. The last 2, string number 6 and 5, well, you got to pull those kind of down to bend them. Because if you go up, you go right over the neck, which we don't want. So these last 2, we'll pull them down. And the 2 middle strings, number 3 and 4, you can go up or down. I prefer going up. I just feel I have better control when I go up than when I come down. You know, I like that feeling. I have more control and more power, and it's more comfortable doing that. Alright, so there's some bends for you. We'll back out and add a few more things here which I'd like to say. And okay, so when you're bending, remember, you're really trying to train your ear to make it sound like that note. It's also a feel factor. You get used to how much pressure you need to apply to make it work or sound right. And bends can be done on any string, any fret, any finger, anywhere. So you want to practice them a lot of different places, different positions, different strings with different fingers to work your strength up there. And this is only bends is what we're talking about. Later on in another lesson we'll do what's called reverse bends, or pre-bend and release. And then later on a bend and release. And then later unison bends. So there's a whole bunch of different bends that we'll want to go over. Alright, so today was only just bending, nothing else. Hope this helps. Now, go do some jamming. See ya.